All right, welcome to another Clubs and Corks golf podcast.
Sponsored by Deer Park.
Sponsored by Shut the Hell Up. Luke Taylor here with Ben Curtis, and we got a really nice guest. Probably our first and only South Dakota native.
It's got a nice ring to it.
South
Dakota.
Well, I'm Canadian. You know, they call Minnesotans and Wisconsinans rejected Canadians. I don't know what we call South Dakotans or North Dakotans.
I've got something I could say about Canadians.
I'm sure.
Let's hear it.
What do Canadians and hemorrhoids have in common?
What?
As long as they stay up there, they're not a problem. You thought I was nice. You said a nice guest today. I don't know.
That's a good one.
So, Lisa Strom, women's golf coach, head women's golf coach, Kent State University.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here. And yeah.
I think the thing I'm really kind of intrigued, because her page does not like the school down the street or down the road, which is your alma mater. So I don't know how you got this job.
Yeah, and he called me about it. So that's even the probably more ironic thing. You know, life puts you on a journey that you don't know what road might take sometime or what detour it might take. But being at Texas State for a couple seasons and 3 seasons down there and getting back from Thailand in a whirlwind of about 3-4 days later, Herb Page's name popped up on my phone, and I knew it was regarding one thing and one thing only. And so it's been awesome though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that What was that call like? Because you knew what was happening,
It was
right?
probably 3 hours.
That's right. What is that supposed to mean? I mean,
When you get on the phone, you can't get off the phone.
no,
with
but
Herb,
here
as
he's-
you know.
Since you said it, I mean, you do get herbed every once in a while. We've turned it into a verb lately. But
you get herbed.
You know,
Okay.
he gets excited. He gets excited.
He was in that seat, and he was here.
This is the hot seat.
Yeah, he was here for a while.
Yeah.
But it was good, though.
Yeah. He's always got a good story. And, you know, again, it's just the legacy he's created here and what he's done for women's golf, certainly for men's golf here, but women's golf as well. It's been awesome to be a part of it. And, you know, what was the conversation like? It was, hey, we're calling you and we want you, you know, and that's always a great position to be in to know that.
Who's this again? I'm just kidding. I think you got the wrong phone number. I want to stay somewhere warm.
Yeah, it was nice down in Texas. But, you know, I will say something about the weather that people always tell you it's warm and the winters are great. And we experienced snow, we experienced ice and all that kind of stuff down in South Texas. So
Whereabouts in Texas? I know Texas State, but where is that exactly?
it's right between Austin and San Antonio. So it's pretty
nice.
pretty far south.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't expect some of the
Hill
weather.
country, isn't it?
It is hill country.
Yeah.
You know a good spot down there, don't you?
Yeah, not too far away.
It's been good to the Golden Flashes down there at the Valero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Let me get my big head
Ta-da!
out.
There we go.
Get your head out of the way.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know. It must be something in the water down there and something.
Yeah, the Rio River maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So you were at Ohio State. You played, obviously, and you had a pretty good playing career after, too. LPGA Tour for...
Yeah.
I asked you how many 50-plus ups. You're like, yeah, I don't know.
I don't, you know, a lot of it blends together. I mean, that's something I've always tried to tell the kids I coach later on. Like, we think that one shot, one tournament is going to mean so much. But when you put a career of 10 plus years together, you look back and it is a blur, and it does go fast. You get to experience a lot of great places and stay with a lot of great families. We stayed in private housing quite a bit during those days. And yeah, it's more about a lot of the people you meet. You know, the wins didn't really come for me as a professional other than some state opens and stuff like that. But when you have a dream and you're following it and you're chasing it, you're willing to do kind of whatever it takes to keep it going. So unfortunately for me, kind of near the tail end of of my career out there on the LPGA Tour, our tournament schedule was such that there was about 7 full-time or full field events my final year out there. I mean,
Really?
and every time you teed it up, it was like a major championship. Like, I got to make this happen. And that wears on you.
How is it different now?
Yeah, Mike Wan took the LPGA to a whole new level. With he was very honest and transparent when he took over. He sat us in a players meeting and he talked a mile a minute, and he was like, basically, if you think the tour is going to be the way it was the last 20, 25 years of, you know, caravanning to tournaments, you're wrong. And if you're not willing to change and travel worldwide and get your passport ready, like, you're going to get left behind. And, you know, so for me, transitioning into coaching, just the opportunities in playing was tough. It was a perfect time for me to do that, though.
So what was that like? I know I went through it, you know, just you finish your career and then you're trying to fight. But you know, did you go right away? Did you you knew 6 months out that if it didn't work out that you were going to go into coaching?
Yeah, kind of that winter of 2010 was kind of like, well, let's see what happens here. And I'd gotten kind of wind that my old teammate Amy was getting out of coaching and Therese was possibly going to be hiring an assistant. And one thing led to another. By March, it had started to happen. The ball was rolling. I started April 1st. So I met the team on the road after playing in my final Symetra Tour event down in Florida. And April 1st, great day to start coaching a college team, right? What jokes are they going to try to play on you? But
What's so funny about April 1st? That's my birthday.
Joking.
No, I'm dead serious. April 1st, 1976. You
Oh.
want to see my driver's license?
Oh, you're way older than me.
You're
Good.
just one big April Fool's.
Asshole. Not you, him.
But yeah, I mean, transitioning to coaching, though, I would say a big thing for me was the idea that that's not your stomach, is it?
No,
Okay. Just
I
checking.
haven't had lunch yet.
Or-
Holy cow. The lights go out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
That's all your wine gone in the back.
The garage door's up.
Yeah.
You know, you get into coaching, though, to help players get better at golf, and you realize it's way more than that, you know, and it's a bunch of life lessons that you're teaching them and helping them through situations you never thought you'd face with them.
Right.
So, you know, I certainly had to learn a lot in those first 5-6 years of coaching of what it means to be walking alongside these young kids, you know, in a time in their college careers where they're starting to make decisions on their own. They're starting to get away from mom and dad a little bit and figuring out who they are as people. Pretty impactful. But, you know, you try to make it fun, too.
And everybody's different, right? It's like a puzzle piece. What works for you doesn't work for
Right.
these, right? You know, it's just, and to figure that out. And I think that's where great coaches, that's what I think made Herb so good. Yes, he was great with the golf side of it, but it was just everything else, you know?
Yeah, if I had a word to describe Herb, like I've thought about this, even just being here in this time, like he connects with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a person, he doesn't meet a stranger. I mean, whether he's at Windmill or over at the facility or what, I mean, he just connects with the people in front of him. And I think that's what's made it so successful, not only from the recruiting standpoint, but, you know, certainly providing the facilities that we have and the resources we have.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
I mean, he is Canadian, so.
Right.
Hard not to like him.
Or hard to like any Canadian. I mean, let's be honest. God. April Fool's Canadians, too.
You can't get rid of him.
Yeah.
No, well, yeah, he's like a bad rash. So, what is the best advice your former coach gave you? I mean, she's very well regarded, very well known. What's the one thing you can see yourself saying? It's like, oh my God, I sound like my old coach.
There's a couple things that come to mind. One of them is if you're going to lay up, lay up. So like simply in coaching, like if there's a hazard down there, like I could just hear her voice, which came from her coach in college. Like, if you're going to lay up, don't hit it in the hazard. But if it's more on the coaching side of things of like mentoring people or mentoring me as an assistant when I was with her, I mean, it was like stand up for what you believe in. Don't just back down or don't take no for an answer when you know it's the right thing. So fight for kind of what you believe in and what you want to happen.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I mean,
It's deep.
it is. But I mean, it's, you know,
speechless.
It
You
doesn't
made
take
Luke
much.
speechless.
You only got me once. It was with your bloody Chinese proverb.
Yeah.
I think I watched the outtake of that episode.
Oh,
That was speechless
I
moment
was.
there.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you know, I don't get speechless much, obviously.
So so you grew up in South Dakota?
Born in South Dakota, but
High
have
school?
lived in North Dakota as well. So
Okay.
Fargo, the movie, doesn't do us any justice.
Really?
Like we don't sound like that,
Yeah.
although Canadians do have their little
Supposedly.
you know, little accents.
Pick
But
on a Canadian.
yeah, oofta, right? Like that's what
Oofta,
we get in
yes.
North Dakota. How's
Yes.
the weather, huh?
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah.
So what's the difference between North and South, just other than geography? Anything?
One has Mount Rushmore, one doesn't.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of people kind of forget where that is, and it is in South Dakota, just in
Yeah.
case. There's not much different. Like if you crossed the border, you'd see a lot of farmland and flat
Moose.
areas and
Moose.
bison.
What about golf? How
Plenty
did you
golf.
get into
Yeah.
golf?
Yeah, my dad played a lot growing up. He would take me with him. He'd take my brother if he wanted to go. Kevin wasn't quite as interested. But if we went on a family vacation, all the golf clubs were in the roof rack.
Yeah, I know.
You know, we were
We're
that
okay.
family.
Yeah, that's all right.
We were that family. And he could sniff out a golf course from a mile away. Like all of a sudden we'd be teeing it up at some local
Yeah.
muni on our way to Arkansas to see a timeshare thing. You know, like we were doing that kind of
Your
stuff.
mom
But
was like, so we're going to see this timeshare. What else are we going to do?
yeah. But you know, it was great memories.
Oh my
He
gosh.
certainly introduced me to the game, and you know, I credit a lot to him. He passed away in 2016, so that was tough losing someone that you were used to calling, you know,
Yeah.
and used to
Oh God, yeah.
talking through stuff with. But
Just call Herb.
Just call her. Then you can't get off the phone with him.
Gotta go. Okay, the best advice I can give you. So I have my master's in communications, PR and advertising at DePaul. And I shouldn't tell you this, and I shouldn't tell anybody this because I use it
But
sometimes.
you're about to.
Yeah, whatever. Maybe we'll get a couple subscribers because of great, life skills and knowledge. So what you do is, let's say you're talking to someone, they won't shut up. Okay, you're on the phone. Okay,
You walk away.
No, because that's rude. So what you do is they're talking, then all of a sudden you say, hey, you hang up the phone as you're saying, oh, really? Or something like that. Because what happens is they don't call you back. They think there's something wrong with your phone.
Wait till
Isn't
he
that
uses
great?
that on you next time.
Yeah.
No, but he won't because he
Ben?
knows better.
Ben, are you still
No,
there?
but I do use it sometimes. Like, there'll be suppliers that are just keep talking. It's like, shut up.
Here's how you talk with Luke. You just put it down there. You just continue on with what you're doing, and then he'll finish later on.
I should have given you that off the air, but that's good. That's good life skills right
Free
there.
lesson right there. I appreciate
That's
that.
the one great thing I learned at DePaul.
Yeah. Well, good.
So,
At least it was one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
did you grow? Sutton Bay's out there, right? Is that fairly new?
Sutton Bay,
have you heard
I'm
of that?
not familiar with.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh.
No. And I
I've
was
heard
pretty
of it.
young. I will say
Just-
that. I was pretty young.
Just
when
look it up.
I
Looks
will.
really cool.
Yeah.
No, what about the Cour
It's-
d'Ivoire? What is it called?
Coeur d'Alene. That's in
Yes.
Idaho.
Yeah.
Jeez, we needed a geography lesson.
No,
is
I
what
know,
I'm
but it's
learning.
it's all the same thing. I mean, let's be honest.
I mean,
Anything
that's
west of Ohio.
That's about
Pretty much.
3,000 miles west of South Dakota. But otherways,
I
it's
used to
fine.
love in college, be like, hey, do you know Mike? He lives in Manitoba. No, he lives in Calgary. I'm like,
Jeez.
well, there's 33.425 other million people in Canada and probably named Mike. Yeah, sorry. So I apologize.
Yeah.
I made a stupid
all right.
comment.
My mom came over from Ireland as a nanny for a doctor, and as she was heading over, she was going to be over here for a year, and that was the plan. She was a nurse over in England, and anyway, so she comes over with this family, and as she's heading to America on a boat, oh, make sure you say hi to my brother Patrick. He's in the Boston Police Department, and she's like, "Are you serious?" So same kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
There's plenty of Patricks working in the Boston
Yeah.
PD,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
It's
Back
true. I'll
then
have to
in
look 'em up.
1968, yeah.
Probably still.
Probably still.
A
yeah.
few.
So when you were a junior golfer getting recruited, who else did besides Ohio State? Who else?
Penn State. I was in high school in Pennsylvania, so
Okay.
that kind of
okay.
introduces more of the eastern U.S. side of things. But Penn State, James Madison, which awesome for their softball program lately. That's pretty cool to watch. But nothing, outside of those three that I can really remember. I was a decent basketball player in high school, so some D3 schools. But I was like, man, I don't think I want to put my body through all that for 4 years of college basketball. So golf seemed to be a great opportunity, and obviously with Ohio State and Therese and what they had going on, she was just kind of 4 or 5 years into it at the time.
Oh, wow.
And so it was neat to be a part of it. Neat to be at a school where sports were a pretty big thing, and it's great to. I don't know, when you go everywhere around the country, you see a lot of Ohio State people. So definitely.
Oh, no, and they do that
definitely.
stupid OH crap.
IO, yeah.
I hate that
it
shit.
happens.
Drives
I
me
know.
nuts. I'm sorry.
But I will say, in all fairness, when we're traveling in our Kent State gear, and our girls, like especially our internationals, they're just like amazed that people come up to us like, Kent State, I graduated there in 1973, and oh my gosh, I just moved out to Phoenix. The people checking us in at the national championship were graduates of.
Can't read, can't write, Kent State.
I've heard it many times.
Yeah. But which is wrong. I really like Kent State, to be honest with you, and not because
Good,
you guys
that's
are standing
good.
there. No, but I'm just saying it's a good school.
Yeah.
It's had some famous, alumni, including I guess him supposedly.
This guy.
Basketball they've done pretty well. Football I don't understand. Golf's always been really good.
Yeah. I wish obviously football would be a huge thing, right? But it's just
tough though, because if they do well, you move, you leave.
Yeah.
Whereas in sports like tennis, golf, baseball, if you build it, like I had a buddy that played baseball at Kent State, they've always been good, College World Series, what have you. But the thing is with non-revenue sports, you don't use it as a stepping stone. You could be there for 30 years, like Herb.
Yeah.
And make a name and be competitive, and you've got the alumni base, and you think football, it's just hard to do.
Yeah, it's amazing, the mid-major title that hangs over you, right? Like it follows you everywhere. People on Twitter, sports writers that cover college golf, it just hangs over you, and you're like, man, we operate like a Power 5 in our sport.
What did you finish nationally this year?
We finished 21st in Golf Stat and 14th in Golf Week. So
Exactly. you're not a mid-major,
Exactly.
right?
And
I
we
think
treat our
that's the
kids that way
problem.
too. Yeah.
Right. The
Yeah.
Gonzaga of the Midwest basketball. I mean, look at Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Basketball, you can actually build a program and stay there forever. You know, Duke used to be awful.
Yeah.
Look at them now. Well,
Well,
they're
it's all
probably
on
going
the
to be awful
coaching,
now.
right?
Well, no, but you're right.
It's
though.
all on the coaching.
But I mean, you remember when?
But you can do it, right? You got to have
Right.
support from the
Yeah, you gotta have the
administration,
resources to be able to-
alumni boosters,
and all that. And if you get that, like
Right.
Herb's built that relationship with those people, and now they're huge supporters. And
and
you
the
know,
facilities too. You guys
Yeah.
have the facilities.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to a lot of recruits on the phone, and especially during this COVID shutdown where we haven't been able to be on the road or
How you like Zoom?
watch any. Never. I wish I would have purchased some stock in it before all this
Yeah,
happened. You
us
know, any
too.
sort of stuff like that. But
Or at least a training session or two.
but you know, talking to kids about just what we have, it's like you almost have to convince them still. They're like, well, I don't know about the weather. I'm like, what about being ranked in the top 15 in the country? Do you find
Herb said
disturbing?
the same thing.
Yeah,
You know,
it's really amazing. So usually if weather is an issue or it's a topic that they want to talk about right away, I'm like, hey man, it's going to be tough, but we travel a lot. And
Yep.
if this is already an issue, you just need to be honest and upfront with us and let us know.
yeah,
how many tour events did you play in where the weather was ideal?
Poof, probably counted on one hand, right?
Exactly.
Like you're
What
going to
about
deal
you?
with it.
I mean, you talked about playing Torrey
I mean,
Pines.
you follow the weather, so I
Right.
mean, but you have wind. You have,
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, the temperatures are nice.
you
might-
guys follow the weather. The
Yeah.
LPGA would follow the bad weather patterns. We'd be in the muck and somewhere
Oh, it looks
in the Midwest. We got a tornado coming at us. Yeah, we're gonna keep
The only one I
playing.
didn't understand was California in February, and that's the rainy season.
Aw,
Yeah, but it's
poor
also-
guy.
But
Poor-
the weather can be.
Do you have any
okay.
tissues? In?
What were you guys playing for? $1
I
million
told you, I'm
bucks?
just gonna walk out. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean,
but-
seriously.
But I mean if you're gonna,
Cry me a river.
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah, cry me a river. Someone held your bag.
yeah.
Put an umbrella
So-
over your head.
No, I
Just
carried my
saying.
own umbrella.
Bull crap. If he brought the umbrella.
That's true. If Ricky brought it, but I know Andy didn't bring it, but
Well, he's from over there. He's used to it. When you get a caddy from over there, you're playing at anything. And, oh, did you bring the rain gear? No.
Yeah.
What was your favorite LPGA Tour event? What's the one that's most memorable?
Well, U.S. Open, the only one I played in. I know it's not
Where
the
was
actual
that?
LPGA Tour event. It was at Pine
Pine
Needles.
Needles. Oh,
Yeah,
they have
Fun
really
place.
good chicken salad sandwiches there.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you missed out.
But yeah, I'll take your word for it. I was on the golf course actually playing.
I
so-
was too. I don't know what you're talking about. One round. I paid for it, unlike you. That's a really cool place. And they're
It
having
cost
it
me an
again.
entry fee. I mean, we had to pay to get in there. Come on,
What was the entry fee?
$100 back in the day, maybe $125.
Did you have to pay entry fees?
for those, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the tour, you do. You just paid up front
$150
for the
for the
member
LPGA
dues.
tour
Really?
every week,
Yeah.
even a Monday qualifier.
Do
I
they
think it was
take-
200 for the big tour.
Do they take Bitcoin?
for PGA.
Bitcoin?
Bitcoin, yeah,
Bitcoin,
I
yeah.
think so.
IOUs? Is that Canadian or American?
But you know what that money's used for, though? It's for insurance, isn't it?
Probably.
I think
Not
it's
on our
for- I
tour.
think that's what it.
Really?
I think it's for insurance purposes, if I'm not mistaken.
We have a different business model, I think,
Yeah.
than the LPGA, but that's okay.
If you won the U.S. Open, do you have to buy the trophy?
No,
Yeah, he has to buy the trophy.
poor guy.
Yeah.
Well, you have to buy that one right there.
Poor guy.
I know. I feel
Pretty
rough
good
for
one
him.
though. How many beers fit in that, or did you put a?
A
You
bottle of wine
A
fits
bottle
in
of
there.
wine,
I
yeah.
do know that.
Yeah. What, a gallon of milk, you said?
I don't know if it's a gallon. It fits a bottle of wine perfectly.
So 750.
Why worry about
so-
milk
Yeah.
when
I
you're
know.
talking about wine?
I know, exactly.
I can't go from milliliters to gallons. I don't know what that.
It's
I
a
went to
tough
Kent
conversion.
State. Remember that?
What did you study
Oh,
what is it called?
God.
Oh, geez.
besides golf?
Recreational
yeah,
management.
recreational man. It's now what sports management now. I believe,
Sounds much more
Yeah.
official when it's
Yeah.
sports management.
Yeah.
versus recreational.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did
Me and everybody else, Mills, all the golfers did.
most athletes probably did. That was probably a higher degree
Lot
than
of-
most athletes.
Football, they were communications. What you did,
Which exactly.
which
Better looking girls. Better ratios.
Hey, he did just fine, didn't he?
Yeah.
I know.
He
I do
did
love
just
his wife.
fine.
I'm not
Trying
complaining.
to save you here, Ben.
So no, I love Candace. So how difficult is it okay, for the people that are maybe the 5 people that are listening,
Yes, all
3
of them
people
at
that are
home. My
watching
mom will
the
watch
6.
this for sure. I'll get her on this.
That's good.
I'll subscribe her somehow.
Cool.
Somehow.
Review
Send her
it.
the invite.
Review it. She's like, I hate Canadian men now. No, but how difficult is it to?
I think she already knew that.
Well, probably. I mean, she did live in South Dakota.
She's actually the one that told me the hemorrhoid joke.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Did she really?
yeah, that's been like a long-standing one since living in North
awesome.
Dakota.
Wow.
Yeah.
I do have family that listen to it. All one of family members in Canada. But anyway, so how difficult is you played and coached at Ohio State? You kind of bleed that you probably bleed that Buckeye. How difficult is to coach at another school that's maybe a rival to them?
Well, it's
That's
the
a pretty
hardest
good
part was
question.
the change in wardrobe because these colors for a Buckeye are pretty tough
Yeah.
with the team up north that we
Yeah.
deal with. So,
Yeah.
Going from
I wear those colors, just so you know. My wife wears those colors too.
man, yeah, that's your problem. But anyway, so
I
seeing
like
that
Down
shift,
Dowling better.
You mean Jan?
Yeah, Jan, whatever. Yes, she's Canadian.
she is.
That too.
She's great.
She
She
is
is
Canadian.
great.
And
Yeah,
you-
I mean, if it's a rival, I don't
and
know.
You
We've-
did better than them again this year. Well, not again.
That's what I mean. So it's kind of like Ohio State and Michigan football, right?
Yeah.
It's not much of a rivalry when the other team's not winning much.
Ooh.
And I actually think I saw we were 3-0.
Mic drop there.
We were 3-0 versus
Better GPA. No, I'm just kidding.
maybe. I don't
Whatever.
know.
Yeah.
We were 3-0 against Ohio State this year, and I take a lot of pride in
Yeah.
it, right? Because I mean, it's always fun to kind of beat your alma mater
Yeah.
when you're
That's
coaching
true.
against them.
That's true. That's really true.
We played in that Indiana.
This is more about the kids you're coaching,
Yeah.
right, than it is
And they love it, too.
necessarily
They
what the
kinda-
school they have on their uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Our kids kind of, I mean, even when we were at Scarlet for the regional, unfortunately Ohio State wasn't eligible for postseason play, but they're like, we like being like they liked
Yeah.
being back there because they knew what it meant to me.
Yeah. That's
and,
awesome.
Man, we didn't get a practice round, so it was really helpful that I had seen the golf course plenty of times.
Yeah.
We walked it, and it was.
If you're gonna lay up,
sloppy.
don't go in the sand trap.
If you're gonna lay
right?
up, lay up. Right? Exactly. Hole 4 there. It's not my favorite, but
Yeah. Do you like the Scarlet Course? I've never played it. It's private now.
I
isn't it?
do, but I like the old one better.
yeah.
Than
The one
new
during our old school years was a
Yeah.
much better golf course.
Did they
much better
just?
layout.
Yeah.
Did they kind of massacre it? Not
Ja-
massacre it.
Jack
but
came
change-
in, and they brought him back to redo a lot of all the
Yeah.
greens. Bunker complexes are so
the-
much deeper.
Are the greens
Yeah.
like 3,000 feet?
They're pretty big.
Yeah.
Big.
Every time I
Lots of
play
slope.
Jack Nicklaus Course, it's like the biggest bunker, like the biggest greens you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, and I don't know about Ben, but I don't hit a very high fade. That is not my ball flight.
I hit
So
a
into
fade,
a lot of greens.
so
Yeah, you'd
didn't-
probably
The way,
be all right.
like you say, you don't like old 4 or new 4.
New 4. Yeah.
And I couldn't draw the ball, but I like the old 4 better too. Even though the new one's kind of more for a fade,
Big
right?
fade. Yeah.
But yeah, I just liked it. I don't know what it had that big bunker in front, and it was kind of. I wasn't a long hitter, so I always laid up just short of the creek or over it, and depending on where it was, and where the pin was, and just hit in the middle of the green, have a 15-footer, and the guys would be going for it would hit out of bounds or in that bunker, and if you were in that bunker, you were screwed.
Right.
You couldn't get a car to keep it on the green. So I don't know. It just. I mean, other than that, there wasn't any huge changes, was there?
7's a lot different. Instead of having that bunker through the middle
Oh,
of the
yeah,
fairway,
yeah.
like kind of the sliver bunker that crossed the whole
I
fairway.
do.
is
Yeah.
A little bit different. And then 18 right now, I mean, I know the Corn Ferry guys basically take it over the edge of the facility, and it's unbelievable from where that tee box is almost on Kenny Road,
Yeah.
and they're launching it over the facility into like front bunker almost.
Yeah.
It's like I'm sure Kokrak was just launching it,
Yeah.
which is like unbelievable. Like if you stood back there and said that's where they were aiming, you wouldn't believe it until you start seeing
Really?
these. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So, but you got to change with the game, and
Yeah.
he tried to lengthen it out, I think, in some areas and just make it harder. I mean, he definitely made it harder.
Yeah.
A good score on there. I told the girls even at our regional was even par every day. And honestly, one team, I think Georgia ended up under par for the week. That was it. So
Wow. Could you ever host a regional at Windmill Lakes?
probably not.
Because
Time of year a little bit.
okay.
Length of course a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think scores would be pretty low. Yeah, just facility-wise.
Okay.
Just a little bit, There's a lot that's asked.
So is there
of.
kind of a handful of teams that can kind of host the regionals each year up here?
Yeah, I mean, a big thing
You
is
could do
like,
it at Firestone, right? I
you
mean,
could do something there. You could do something.
technically, Akron could, right? I mean, yeah, Kent could too, right?
Portage.
Just-
Yeah, for sure. You just have to kind of have that type of facility that can handle kind
That
of all the
much,
food and beverage,
right.
everything that comes with it too. It's a big undertaking, and the
Yeah.
university ends up putting in a pretty penny. Not
Yeah.
they don't. It's not like they pocket all this money from the NCAA to run it.
Right. Shocker, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Interesting how that works.
I wonder where the Baton Rouge money ended up going. You know, like you do get a little bit of money, but did they get a refund? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
like we said though, for 18 holes, any team can compete with any team, right?
Right.
And I think that was the probably end all be all. There is, are you going to really go into a 1-round shootout for a shot at playing in the national championship? I don't think there's many college coaches that at the beginning of the season, if they were given that opportunity, like, hey, you're going to go to the Baton Rouge regional at Baton Rouge, and you're going to have one round, possibly to par 67, against everybody in the field. I don't know how many teams would have wanted to tee it up. If they're being honest.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Just being honest.
I mean, we were down by 1 to Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Things
I
can
was
happen.
there. Oh, yeah, things can.
Things can happen.
Because at the end of the day, you want the best. How many teams go? 30?
6 advance. On the men's side, 30 are at the national champion, 24 from the women's side.
You
Yeah,
want
so
the
4
best
regionals.
24
Yeah.
teams there.
Yeah.
You want to earn it. Yeah, right? You got to earn it. Earn your way there.
Yeah, you earn your spot into regionals through your regular season play, and that's that's been the side of the argument. I sit on our board of directors, so it's you hear from a lot of people, and it's like the regular season play doesn't give you the opportunity to play in the national championship. It gets you into regionals. I get that. One time in all the times we've had regionals it's ever happened, this year was the year.
Wow.
It does stink.
Do you like the way they do it now versus when we played where, we were always in the central division, so
Yeah.
you always played in the same,
Yeah. Like,
geographical region? Or do
Branching
you
out
like it
is-
now? Do you think it's better, or do you?
I think it
what's
gives them
the
a better
pros and
experience.
cons?
I think the travel, if players are getting ready for the LPGA Tour, like you do have to go play out west. You want to expose them to what it's like down in Texas. You want to head down to Florida. And I think the other aspect you run into is, hey, we're playing along Arizona State at our regional. So it's not as shocking when we've seen them in regular season play, and we get out to Phoenix and playing for a national championship, you're also just not as starstruck, I think as you see in the rankings, you're like, oh yeah, I belong here. So I think that helps. And you see
But it forces you to travel during the regular season too, more.
we didn't see any West Coast teams until the national championship, though.
Wow.
That was wild. And
Is that
Arizona
normal?
State
Even though you
Not
went to
normal.
Arizona, then you go to Arizona
till the national championship. That was it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Arizona State was at our regional, but I mean, all through the regular season, because of COVID and a lot of
No.
teams weren't flying as much, a lot of teams stayed in their kind of normal
Right.
regions.
Do you think do you think your travel will change? I know you probably do your schedule a year or two in advance. Do you see things kind of maybe sprinkling some things that you did in the past this upcoming year? Or?
Yeah, we're pretty close to, I would say, 90% back to normal. The budget meetings we're having is pushing us back towards, okay, we're getting there, right? So we're getting on planes a little bit more. We're not worried about traveling out to LA for the Ohio State tournament they host out there. So there's certain things that we're putting back on the schedule. We're going to go, until we're told otherwise. So yeah, I think it's all about the experience, though. The student athlete wants to do that. Coaches want to do that. We want to get back to normal. So
Where's the coolest place you played when you were in school? Or the coolest tournament?
the national championship in Bend, Oregon.
Oh.
We went out to Crosswater, Columbia.
Nice.
Yeah, Crosswater.
Crosswater, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And actually, when you asked about the LPGA events, the ones we played out in that Portland area were awesome. Just a great.
Pumpkin Ridge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Played out there. Played
Played the AM there. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
the
Yeah.
US. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiger won that, right?
probably. good
He won it
guess. Anyway,
He
if it's
won it
not-
every year I played in it.
What was
Okay.
your problem?
I played like 3 times. I just didn't get my chance to play him. He just played the wrong guys, I guess.
Who did you play? Any memorable players?
I went to the semis at Pebble.
That's decent.
David Gossett beat me. The next year, Jeff Quinney. Remember Jeff? He
Remember
won
that
the
name.
USAM. I think the year. Yeah, he beat me at Baltusrol. quarterfinals. We went 24 holes or something like that. He beat me in the quarters. The year after Pebble. So
Decent.
yeah.
Top 6.
I mean, I don't remember playing anybody.
Good.
Well, that won
Trying to get
majors
her to say
or
something
won multiple
controversial.
times. Won
Oh, believe
multiple
me.
times on tour.
Guess who's
But there's
who's
so many kids, right? I mean, you think about it. Like, I didn't play a Charles Howe or Matt Kuchar or
Luke Donald.
Jonathan
Oh, no,
Bird,
Luke Donald's
Luke Donald. I didn't play any of those in match play. Like, obviously played against them, but then head to head, you know. So
That was interesting.
yeah.
So how has the game changed for you from when you were playing collegiately to now coaching it? Has there been a huge, I mean, obviously technology.
Yeah. Technology and clubs,
and
right?
social media.
Social media.
Which we love.
Yeah. All those followers.
Yes. Hey, Brooks Koepka's mom follows us. So do you.
You've pretty much
Follow
made
you.
it. You
I know. I feel like it.
Yeah.
Denise Jackwell. How do you
Just
say
need Bryson's
Jack
mom
Bryson.
to follow us.
That'd be interesting.
Please, Mrs. DeChambeau. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway.
I would say a big thing for me is as a player still, like when I go tee it up, I hit it farther now. So obviously technology.
I saw you with your new driver on Instagram. You got a nice swing. I told Ben that.
So he stalks us too, right?
Yeah.
I think this
No,
is,
I don't
okay.
stalk you.
Yeah, you might.
You brought it
No,
out.
it is
New
good
driver.
stuff. Good
you got a
stuff.
nice swing. You can hit the ball.
Appreciate
How
that.
far can you hit it? How far can you hit with that club?
Well, that was just 3-wood that I got from Ping. So
They couldn't give you the driver, huh?
that goes 2/3. Well, I have last year's that he couldn't
okay.
beat with the numbers. So I think in the air that 3-wood was carrying like 220, 215, 220. And then driver's probably carrying 240, 245.
Nice. Still.
Yeah. I mean, when I was in college, like I didn't carry it that far. Like I wasn't that good.
Isn't that
so,
crazy?
Yeah. I mean, I was not the All-American in the group, you know.
We had
What is that
persimmon
phrase you
heads,
have?
You know, when we played, right? We had the persimmon wood head.
I did show up.
No.
I showed up to college with one 3-wood that was a wood head.
Really?
I did. I don't know where that club is, but it was, and it was quickly out of my hands. Therese was like, "Yeah, we got to get you something for this."
That's like Tim Herron, right?
Yeah.
Tim Herron was out. Lumpy was outdated on some of his clubs, even on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably still uses them. I'm going to check him out at the
Well,
Bridgestone.
you see, he
Senior.
almost won yesterday.
What's that?
He almost won yesterday. Did you see that?
In life or in the golf tournament?
Champions Tour.
Did he really?
Yeah, I finished third.
You're Canadian.
He had the
Come
lead.
on,
He
Stephen
had the
Ames
lead.
won.
Oh, nice.
Got to
He
get
had the
Stephen
lead,
on
but-
the podcast.
Yeah, or Mike Weir, because I've got an interesting.
Weir's
I
Well,
want to.
Steven, he's not. I mean, he's Canadian, but he's not.
He's
right?
from Alberta.
Turks and Caicos, right?
He's
Something
from
like
yeah.
that.
He's
He's
like one of
from,
the-
what's
he's Trinidad Tobago or something.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
it.
That's
it.
where he's
That's
from.
it.
He's a Trinidadian.
Yeah.
My dad's from Grenada, so I know how it is. But yeah, you know, her page kind of he would have had 2 major winners if he would have actually recruited. Well, he recruited Mike Weir, but didn't want him. Didn't think he was good enough. I called,
Hey,
talked
we-
to him about that. Yeah.
We miss on some really good ones sometimes.
Who are some of the ones you've missed on? Who's the one that you're like, man, I wish I would have got her? And maybe she's not on the LPGA Tour, but she's like, you know, you had a legitimate chance. You're like, man, I wish I would have gotten her.
Well, I mean, when I first got into coaching, I went and watched this tournament in New York. It was this AJGA Junior All-Star. Like, it wasn't even a big one, but there was a couple names. So I get up there, and this kid from Ontario, Brooke Henderson, I was like, go check her out. I've seen her name a few times. I was like, whoa, she's legit. And she had a Florida Gators head cover on her bag. So I was like, well, guess I don't have a chance. Kind of slowly went down that road of like, nah, let's not even worry about it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think it's interesting, right? You have kids that end up in your program that, as luck would have it, right, or timing works out, and they develop, or you know, as we were talking earlier, they start to love it even more, and they put that work in, and they start to develop. I love seeing kids get better as they go along. So like their freshman to senior year, and where they kind of came in, and the impact they're starting to make. So I had a kid from Northeast Ohio join us at Ohio State. She called Therese one day and had been trying to slowly make her decision where she was going to go to school. She had some great offers down south, and she said, Therese, you know, our coach, just want to let you know, like, I really want to go south, you know, to go to college. And Therese was like, oh, here we go. So I'm going to get on 71 and come down to Columbus. So
That's cool.
Jessica Pravasnik, yeah. And she ended up being a great kid, you know, All-American on our team.
She's from up here.
She's from Medina, yeah.
Yeah, Highland.
Yep.
Yeah, we. I took my daughter to the marathon, 2 years ago? And we met her and stuff like
Yeah.
that. She's real nice.
Yeah, great kid.
How's she doing on the tour?
She's kind of still with some mini tour stuff right now. She got into some just kind of bad equipment for a while.
Okay. That's
which
my excuse too.
right,
Bad equipment,
right, a loft issue.
amongst other things.
Yeah.
So, so it kind of let her down a little bit of a, road of things not going so great. But she's working hard, and hopefully she gets a chance. Through COVID, I think that was tough too with them, and
Oh God.
the tour school and all that stuff being canceled last year. So it's been hard. It's been hard to kind of work your way back into it.
So where do you recruit? Where is kind of your stomping grounds for recruiting? Do you recruit all over the place? Do you, the South, the international?
Planet Earth, yeah. Pretty much.
Hello.
Yep, we go all over, right? Like
Right.
when Herb called me a couple years ago, I had just come back from Thailand doing a couple camps over there. There's been some great Thai players that have come through the program here, where I was at Texas State and also at Ohio State. So I've got some great people I know over there, and just the word of mouth is when kids
it's all
have a great
relationships,
experience,
right?
Yeah. But yeah, so it's Canada. It's I think the Canadian connection that Kent has had, especially on the men's side for a long time, and on the women's side, but it's just not been as strong in the last few years on the women's side.
Well, her put classified ads in the local papers in Canada.
Come on.
Yes, come on.
If you play hockey, come on.
I'm going to tell you something. When you get one Canadian, because when I was at DePaul, I got one, and next thing you know, I could have the pick of the litter.
Yeah.
Well, do they have Canada? They have Golf Canada. Do they have that for tennis? Like where the
Tennis
federation?
Canada, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
It's
how
just-
it
it's
starts.
just different,
right?
though.
It does start that way. I mean, as soon as you've got the Canadian national team coaches that are knowing their kids are having a great experience, they're getting properly, mentored. And, I think that's a huge part when you come to college. You're away from your swing coach maybe for the first
Right.
time, or, hey, we have this specific mental training we do, or, what are you going to give our kids that we're handing them over to you to make sure that they're still on the right track when they leave. But I would say that's where, on the American side, it is so individualized, and we don't have that Team USA type of deal. It's not like the federal government is kind of creating those programs.
Do you think that
build it
hurts kind of the level of players in the States, or pretty much no? I mean, because, there's clubs, there's tournaments.
It's all
there's-
numbers in it.
yeah.
I mean,
There's
there's so many kids.
Yeah. It's almost though it becomes like, I mean, I'm sure you remember how few AJGA events. It was like one a week was a big
Yeah.
deal. And now it's like you can't even keep up with the AJGA in their schedule.
Really?
And so every American kid that's, working to get a college scholarship is like, I got to play here and I got to go here and I got to go.
Do you think it's too much?
I certainly think it can be.
Yeah.
And I think it gets very individualized. Kids that come from
Yeah.
Europe and they played on their national team there, they know what a team feels like.
right.
And
Yeah.
they can really buy into that, I mean, you see kids at the European Ladies Championship, European girls, they'll go back and caddy for a teammate when they've finished their round.
Isn't that crazy?
And yeah,
That
so
wouldn't
it's
happen
already
in
built
America.
in.
Yeah.
Be like, shit, carry
Fend
your
for
own bag.
yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or mom and dad be like, you're going to hit balls, right? Like
Yeah.
it's mom and dad are telling them so much of what they have to do to get better.
Yeah.
And so I think they kind of miss out sometimes on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big
you can
learning
learn
curve.
from watching too.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
why I tell
Yeah.
my kids, watch the kids you're playing with, watch the good players, see what they do.
Watch your dad.
Yeah. Well,
They don't
Or
want to do
don't.
that, do they?
no,
Especially if I'm their
What do you
dad.
know?
not
Dad.
now when I'm hitting into the trees
Yeah.
and
He doesn't
Three
even golf
putting.
anymore.
Yeah.
The best is when they say, who we're talking to, a couple of people have invited us to play all these different courses. They're like, oh, you should come, you should go here, you should go to Bandon. Or no, Tom Doak invited us up to
Las
Traverse.
Vegas, or
What's the course called?
Forest Inn.
Crystal Downs.
Crystal Downs.
He's a
When?
member-
Let's go.
I know, exactly.
If he's not going, I'll go.
So he goes, Jen's like, yeah. I'm like, so I go to bed. I'm like, you don't even golf. He's like, yeah, you're right.
But you can appreciate a good golf course.
Oh, I can. Yeah,
For
for
sure.
sure.
I mean, kids out all the time, they're like, Coach,
Yeah.
why don't you play with us? I'm like, because it's not really fun to tee it up and shoot
Yeah.
80. Like,
Really? Must be nice.
really. Yeah.
Fun for me. I shoot 8 once, quite a bit.
You wish in your dreams.
It's all right.
You want to do your spiel there?
No, I don't want to.
Okay.
You want? Okay, I'll do it. We got to take a quick break. You can have a drink and you can laugh.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
get your hand up there, please? Thank you. The miracle of wine capturing a special time and place finds
Benny
its
White.
essence in the Mirror Vanna White.
No, I'm Benny White. Not Benny.
In the Mirror Cabernet Sauvignon Schweitzer Vineyard, even before Jim Barry Dyke and Gustavo Gay Gonzalez founded Mirror, they dreamt of making a definitive Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon from this premier Grand Cru vineyard, first planted in 1885 in the heart of the Stags Leap district. The Schweitzer family devotes incredible care in their stewardship of the land and the fruit it yields, making them ideal partners in Mirror's quest for pure expressions of vineyard and varietal. This is my favorite part. You ready? This is a good
I
one.
can't wait.
The Mira Cabernet Sauvignon Schweitzer Vineyard. Pour yourself a miracle. Oh, I love that.
I think you love your own voice there.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I hate my voice.
Really?
I was in television. You know what? Could you tell?
You have a face for radio, I think.
Wow. I used to have a face and body for
Zinger.
television.
She's singing you all day.
That's okay. That's fine.
Hey, I watched some of these episodes. I know
Yeah.
this is not supposed to be just like, boohoo, boring stories.
We've had a couple.
Herb told a couple good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I called.
I'll leave it at that.
I called Herb a dictator. He didn't really like that. Remember the whole story about him cleaning off the snow at the green? He's like, that's not true. I heard it was.
No, he didn't.
Who did? I thought he did.
No, we
He's-
just had snow on the greens.
I thought he was cleaning it off with like a broom or something.
No, he said, no, they delayed it and they wanted to cancel. He's like, no, we're playing.
Okay,
Like,
same damn thing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He didn't care.
It wasn't.
kicked
It must
football.
not have been a broom. It was
He
like a
kicked
wedge.
footballs in snow. So he's like, let's go. It's just golf, right?
He goes to me, what position you think I played? I'm like, the holder of the kicker? He's like, no, I was the kicker. I'm like, okay.
Oh, you didn't do your research on him.
No,
Everybody
I
knows
did.
you.
I
Okay.
did. Oh,
Got it.
believe me, I did.
Got it.
So going back to this rivalry, so I see you won 3 Ohio Opens and 2 Michigan Opens.
Yeah, that was
So
a
you-
fun couple summers. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
So which one do you cherish more?
Man, it's fun to win up there.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a Buckeye. But I don't know. Winning the Ohio Open was pretty cool. It was my first professional state open. I had won a Cactus Tour event right before. It was called like the West Coast Ladies Golf Tour, and I literally cashed my check, and the tour folded the next day. It cleared.
Nice.
I think it was like for $15,000. I don't even know how we had that big of a purse.
Really? Yeah,
I
now
won.
you know why.
It was like on an Easter Sunday. I had called my parents. They were in church. My mom's phone was ringing. She's like, I didn't even know how to turn it off. And literally took the check to the bank, cashed it, and
it
we
cashed?
were notified. Yeah, it did go through,
Wow.
but we were notified that the tour was folding. So, yeah.
Get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Mom, Dad. I'm not coming home this weekend. I don't have any money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, state opens are awesome. I think they're great opportunities, and I think they've actually in themselves become almost like a mini tour for a lot of
Yeah.
aspiring young women that are trying to turn pro and get their foot in the door and get experience. I've told a lot of young players as they graduate, keep playing as much as you can. You can't just stay at home and practice and get ready for Q school. Like you've got to go play under the tournament conditions and get out there.
How many of your players are do you think will aspire? I mean, do all your players aspire to play pro?
I would say,
at your
yeah.
level? Yep.
Yeah, they do. We talked about this actually our kind of final night out at Scottsdale in the hotel. We had a little pizza delivered to the hotel that night, and we were kind of just talking about what people were going to be doing. And, one player's like, oh, I'm giving myself 3 years when I graduate. And it's like, really? Like, do you know that that's going to be enough? Are you already
Wow.
writing kind of that into it? To me, that's just, you got to keep it open-ended because there's so much development that it can happen even once you graduate. And there's such a learning curve to professional golf and learning what it takes to travel and how to manage yourself and how things aren't done for you all the time, like the
They're
PGA,
not.
like the PGA Tour players.
Yeah.
All their travel arrangements.
So, I mean, how does someone, okay, so they're going to give themselves 3 years, okay, and you gave yourself some time. How do you afford to go out there? Because the money is not like the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
The sponsorships are not like the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
How do you make it?
Well, I think, I was fortunate to run into some people that through golf out in Las Vegas. This is a whole nother story.
It
Maybe
sounds
another
like an
maybe
episode.
another podcast.
It sounds like it. Don't
But
say anymore. We'll bring you back in 6 weeks.
but I mean, in
We'll
all
have to
honesty,
go to Vegas to do it because it has to stay in Vegas.
that's right. What happens in
That's-
Vegas
that's
stays
true.
in Vegas. But the gist of the story was I ran into some people that really actually kind of took me under their wing. They're like, hey, we
Awesome.
want to help you out. And so they had the funds to be able to do that. It wasn't anything major. They weren't
No,
giving
but
me
still.
$50,000
Yeah,
a
but
year, but
still,
it kept
anything.
me going.
Yep.
And, he kind of set it up with like, hey, if you're making money, we'll make a little money, but you got to pay yourself first. And I think a lot of people get into those situations where it's like a sponsor might give you some money, but then they want all the return on it ahead of the player. So I was fortunate. I had a great upbringing. Wasn't, wanting for anything, but
Right.
it wasn't like my parents were putting me out there to play
It's
on
not
tour.
cheap.
No.
It's not like you can live in your car either.
Right. I think I'm probably most proud of the fact that when I stopped playing, I wasn't in debt.
That's great.
Yeah.
I didn't have any savings, but I wasn't in debt. I
Yeah,
was.
but you live once.
That's right. You cannot take it with you.
Yeah.
I have learned that.
My kids don't listen to this, so that's good. No, but I mean, here's the thing, though. By doing that, you've been there, done that, like him, and it's only going to
not quite like him.
Well, I know I'm not like quite him either. Let's be honest.
How many majors do we all have between us?
You like that one, don't
Yeah,
you?
I love that. I love that.
He always tells the truth. He's like, Kokrat's in here. He's like, so we've gotten 5 PGA tournament wins, and he's just like looking at me, and Ben's like, yeah, he likes this one, whatever. I just can't wait till we meet, like, interview someone that has like 30, so we can say we have 34
between us all.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, and they'll probably be like, yeah, we have, but then you'll bring it out because you just want to make me feel.
You have, Luke?
Doesn't matter.
This is a team effort
I
here.
win in life. You can't get a trophy for winning in life. So, what was I going to say? Oh, but by doing it, now as a coach, you've been there, done that, right? So you can say, this is what it's like. This is the road you have to take. And the same thing with you coaching. And it probably helps you recruit get maybe a player you maybe if you didn't play or had that experience you might not be able to get. Now you can say, like, I know what it's like.
Yeah, one of the, if I'm talking to a recruit, like one of the things that Kent State that we have is 2 players that played on the LPGA Tour. Not a lot of programs in the country have that on their coaching staff.
So you and Ben.
Are you on our staff still?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Are you on? Are you anything like? Are you like a Kent State?
Volunteer?
Yes.
Are you a volunteer assistant?
Yeah.
What does that entail?
We get to ask him to do things for us,
Yeah.
to volunteer for us.
Yeah.
But I also tell him, like, I know what it's like to make a 6-footer on Friday afternoon to make the cut.
Awesome.
I remember that in New Jersey, in Atlantic City, making that 6-footer. So at the end of the day, a lot of coaches can say, hey, you've got to,
God,
each
that's
shot
gotta be
means
stressful.
this and each shot means that.
Just thinking about that to make the cut, like, shit, 6-footer. I have a tough time trying to make a 1-footer just to
Yeah.
get par.
Is your putting that bad?
I'm working on it. He's helping. He's telling me what I need to do. Work on my short game.
It's not bad as Lucas Glover's putting, is it?
No.
Seen that video lately?
No, I try not to.
Don't watch it.
No.
It's like it should be censored. Like you should have a major
And he's a good
warning.
putter too.
Is
Played
he?
a lot of junior golf and he played at Clemson, a lot of amateur, and even basically had the same career. And yeah, he's a great putter. I mean, he's kind of like a Watson, great from 15, 20, gets close. Especially as he got older, right?
Lexi yesterday, even.
Yeah.
Lexi kind of fell
Yeah.
back to her putting is what holds her back. But, anyway, so yes,
Yeah.
it's a stressful time too, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, to have walked the journey ourselves and know
Mm-hmm.
what that's like, and kids say that's where they want to go. I mean, there's the big thing that we talk about is it's one thing to say that's where you want to go, but what are you willing to do to work towards it and put that into action? So, our big message to them is it takes way more to get out there and compete than it does to get to where they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I sometimes it falls on deaf ears. Sometimes they take it to heart. Sometimes there's kids that are super talented and super lazy, and then you wish you could, bump that up a bit.
Yeah, when you're in college too, a lot of people don't realize you're going to school, right?
Yeah,
So
there's
you're
other things.
You're
Right.
going to school 5 days a week, several hours a day. You got workouts and that, and all of a sudden you take that away.
6 a.m. conditioning.
Right, you take that away. Now you got to do it on your own. Like, okay, well now how are you going to fill out
My
your
mom
day?
came with me to college.
Right, you got. Did you?
She didn't.
Jeez.
I'm going with my kids to college. I'm going to enjoy it.
But anyway,
Yeah,
my
no, I
point
know what you're
is
saying.
that
Right.
you got all this time now. And then you got to manage your own schedule.
Oh,
right?
God.
You
have to do
for
laundry.
most of these kids. It's you got
Lay
3
out.
months. Okay, what am I going to do over summer? And
Play a few
I'm sure
tournaments,
you
right?
see some of them. You got to like almost push them.
Yeah.
I know Herb was always pushing some of the guys. Hey,
Really?
Go
What's your
play,
schedule?
go play,
What's
go
your
play.
schedule?
Now,
Mhm.
John and I, Danny, we'd play a lot, but some of the other guys,
Yeah.
they had to go work over the summer.
Yeah.
Financial reason, which you get. Maybe, they had vacations with family and other stuff that come in. Next thing you know, they didn't realize they didn't play tournaments.
Yeah.
Right, and August happens, and they get back in
comes
August,
quick.
and it's rusty.
I mean,
Yeah.
basically June 1 to August, 15th or whatever. It's
Yeah.
not very long.
Herb didn't tell you guys your scholarship's renewable every year?
Oh, of course. But,
Yeah. That's the biggest misconception.
yeah.
Scholarships for 4 years. Right?
Power 5 schools have these
Well,
4-year deals. let me
Yeah,
tell
well,
you.
I
It's
know.
pretty amazing.
But yeah, we won't.
But yeah, I mean,
we
I think
won't go
it's,
It's a kind of unwritten rule, right? You basically offer it. I mean, Herb always stood by it.
Yeah,
but,
but you had to-
technically, yes. It's
But you had to
year
go to the athletic director's office, and you had to sign it
Oh yeah.
every year, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's their annual contract.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you can't take it because of performance. But it's amazing how it is on some things. But whatever, we won't go there.
Yeah.
It's not like Kent State's not like that, but there are other schools out there, usually in the South. I didn't say that. I mean, listen, I dealt
You
with
want to
it.
name the school while you're at
I
it?
mean, I had a kid. I'll tell you something. When I was coaching, I had a kid. He was one of the top Russian kids, and we lost him, or I lost him because I wouldn't pay his for him to take his SAT scores, and the school did. And you know what? He was top 25 Division I his senior year. I'm not going to say what school it is.
All right.
They know.
They know.
That coach knows.
I don't. That coach is not there anymore, but
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, it wasn't. It actually wasn't an SEC school. It was Big 12. Yeah.
Stuff like that happens. I mean, I'm probably naive to the fact that it happens more often than I
Yeah.
even know.
Yeah.
Quite honestly,
It
with the
happens.
name, image, and likeness stuff going on and starting to happen, I mean, we've got to position ourselves, with people around the community that are well aware of it. And
Mm-hmm.
hey, there's ways that we can help even be more attractive and have
McDonald's
kids.
bags. That's what they're doing in the South. It wasn't Tennessee football. I think they were giving McDonald's bags to recruits,
Didn't see that.
and there wasn't food in there. Might have been Tennessee football. I don't know. We'll probably get sued. Whatever.
You said it, not me.
Well, you're part of it. So I think that's good. We're going to keep you around. We're going to talk.
Yeah.
We're going to do a little back nine section. Lisa, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks
It
for
was
having
fun.
me. Yeah.
If I was,
I just really enjoyed the Canadian jokes, just
Yeah,
because
the
it made
hemorrhoids,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
One really good one.
yeah. But isn't it just one
It
really
only
good
takes
one?
one.
Yeah, it just takes one, right? It takes
Hey,
a
the
village.
Canadian Open was always a top-notch event as well
Yeah.
on tour.
Yeah. Well, they don't have it anymore because of COVID.
I know.
They keep canceling. But everybody else has events, not in Canada.
Doesn't cross the border from what I've heard. COVID just stays
It
south
does,
of the
you
border.
can't get it on golf courts either. For a while, Ontario was the only place in the world you couldn't play golf.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
Just talked to some buddies that live up there
Yeah.
today, and she's like, I'm finally able to practice a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
and
crazy.
she's just a member at a golf course, and
Yeah.
she's like, this has been unbelievable.
Yeah. It's been fun. So, Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, rate, review.
Come on, Mom, you can do this.
Yeah, come on, Mom. My mom's like deaf, so she's not doing this. But
What'd you say?
my mom, yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you. God, this is rough.
Zingers.
We're not going to have her back. Forget this.